Questions on a statement made in the House of Commons yesterday, Heathrow disruption.
Lords, I thank the Noble Lord the Minister for advance sight of the statement made yesterday. The remarkable thing about this event is what it was not. It was not a hostile terrorist attack. But in the first few moments, no one could have known that. Indeed, the natural suspicion would have been that it was. And that circumstance can only enhance our admiration for and our thanks to the firefighters in particular and other responders who rushed to the scene, not knowing what would await them. We are, all of us, very grateful to them and all the others who pulled Heathrow back from this incident for what they did. I think it's worth also saying a word of thanks, I would like to say a word of thanks, to the staff of Heathrow Airport. It may seem a fairly simple thing to switch an airport off and then a while later just to switch it back on again. But in fact, on the rare occasions this has happened before, and I'm thinking of the example of Bangkok Airport in 2008, when an occupation by protesters for a week caused the airport to be shut down deliberately, to be shut down. On that occasion, once it was safe to do so, it took a full 5 days to restart the airport safely. And the fact that the staff at Heathrow were able to respond so well and so effectively to the electrical changes, I can't describe them or imagine them, but the changes in electrical work required to operate the airport, to do it so quickly and so safely, in fact, I think shows their skill and abilities, and is something which we should be grateful for and acknowledge. Once it was clear that this was not a terrorist incident, everyone could relax. The chief executive of Heathrow was so relaxed, he went back to bed. But of course, the people who couldn't relax were the passengers affected by this event across the world. It's estimated that nearly 300,000 people were affected by this incident, spread out over 1,350 flights. Does the Minister think that they have received an adequate apology? Of course, many of them will be receiving compensation, financial compensation, depending on their carrier and the jurisdiction that they live under. But is financial compensation simply enough? Are we too easy? Is it too easy for us to think that, oh, they've got their compensation, they've got their refund, we don't actually need to apologise? I haven't seen a great deal of apologising going on to people who were very seriously affected and disrupted in their lives and in their plans. Turning to the specifics of the incident, it raises significant questions about Heathrow's resilience and the safeguarding of critical infrastructure. The fact the airport was reliant on this electrical substation, which proved so vulnerable, is concerning, and the outage serves as a stark reminder that energy security is not only about affordability, but also about ensuring the physical safety and reliability of our infrastructure. I would like to hear what the Minister has to say about that reliability and security. And I'll say immediately that I recognise that it isn't always the right answer to build in huge amounts of redundancy in the light of an event that may happen only very occasionally. These are difficult judgments to make. All that redundancy costs a lot of money. And I know the government has to make difficult judgments. Heathrow has to make difficult judgments about it. But I would like at least to hear in what direction the government is going in making those judgments and whether it thinks it has got the balance right and what should be done. And given the essential role of airports to our economy, what discussions has the noble Lord the Minister had with the Minister for Energy Security and Net Zero regarding the security of energy supplies to our major airports? Can the Minister tell us what the timeline is for the review being undertaken, the Kelly review being undertaken on behalf of Heathrow Airport? And does he expect its findings to be fully publicly accessible? And finally, will the government assess the incident in the broader context of Heathrow's expansion? I'm not referring exclusively to plans for a third runway. Heathrow has significant expansion plans that fall short of a third runway, that they are progressing with, at least progressing with securing approval for at the moment. Does the noble Lord the Minister believe that the current infrastructure challenges at Heathrow raise wider concerns about the viability and resilience of that expansion? What steps will be taken to ensure that any future expansion does not exacerbate the vulnerabilities exposed by this recent disruption? And what steps will be taken to ensure that any future expansion does not, I'm sorry, I've just said that a second time, but what steps will be taken to ensure that that expansion does not increase the vulnerability of the airport to this sort of event?